Hi, here today I want to talk about how sometimes people constantly try to provoke you and think that you don't know what they're doing. And it's like they constantly focus, their main focus is on provoking other people or trying to control how others feel or react, are often driven by psychological needs like seeking control. They need control from you. They're always trying to get attention from you, or they need validation from you, or they may have learned this behavior from past experiences or environments where antagonism was normalized, to try to get a reaction out of people. So when they're so used to this, some people, depending on their personalities and behaviors, and I can only talk from experience, is when they're used to this, and it has become normalized from whether it's childhood, school days, workplace relationships, it just becomes normalized for them. And if their behavior is that they never look at themselves to figure out what they are doing to other people, from the reactions they get from other people, being written up by other people, being approached by other people to stop doing what they're doing, but their personality is like, there's nothing wrong with me. So it just becomes normal for them. There's a big difference between being mad or invested in something versus not caring at all. They'll just say they're just big mad because of this and that, not realizing the person they're trying to provoke just don't give a damn. They don't care about none of the mess that they're coming towards them with. Right? So anger usually signals that a person feels personally threatened or deeply invested, while true indifference means the subject simply doesn't matter enough to warrant any energy or reaction. So they'll get offended and say you're being angry. They're just angry because you don't give a response. You don't give a care. It doesn't faze you one way or another. So now you're labeled as angry because you refuse to give your energy or your reactions to what they're trying to make you move and knee-jerk with. So why some people provoke others? Some provoke people because it's a habit. That's a habit that they learned in environments where conflict is always common. That's all they know is conflict. Just stir it up and keep it going. Others do so from boredom. They seek excitement or stimulation, or because provoking provides a sense of attention, even if it is negative attention. They gotta have it. They gotta have your energy. A need for control or feeling powerless somewhere else in their life, whether it's their intimate relationships, whether it's their relationship with their children, their relationship with their co-workers, relationship with their neighbors. They just feel powerless. This type of behavior can drive people to provoke reactions, to feel a sense of influence or superiority towards you or whomever they're trying to get their energy from. Emotional dysregulation. or unresolved emotional distress may lead them to externalize their own pain by stirring up conflict in others, by trying again to make other people mad, to make other people argue back with them. Whether it's done consciously or unconsciously, it's just a habit that they have. And they just can't stop it because they don't care to look at themselves to see why they're doing this and how it makes other people feel. They don't give a damn. So in groups, provoking can reinforce status or hierarchies, but often creates toxic environments where people just don't want to be around them. People shut up from talking when they come around. People start saying stupid stuff when they come around. Because they're just so fucking toxic. The difference between anger and indifference. Anger often indicates an emotional investment or caring for, good or ill, because it means something feels personally relevant. Indifference, on the other hand, or not caring, is the absence of emotional investment. The topic just does not impact the person enough to react or feel involved. The person is concentrated on themselves, they're concentrated on other things in life, and that topic that you keep bringing up, it's like, you can't make me angry or feel any kind of way about it because I just don't know about the topic. I just don't care about that topic. Some mistakenly think that people should get angry to provoke that they care. But real caring is better shown through compassion and action, not rage or being provoked. So here are some psychological reasons for focusing on others. Like when people are constantly focused on other people and getting reactions out of other people. It's just sickening, man. Just sickening to watch it. Many people are conditioned to seek validation, inclusion, and acceptance from others. So they project their values or concerns onto those around them. A strong focus on others' reaction is sometimes related to social anxiety, insecurity, or a fear of other people's opinions. FOPO, fear of other people's opinions. FOPO. In some cases, psychological manipulation or emotional blackmail is used by those who provoke or poke the bear, as I say, so they can gain emotional leverage or fulfill unmet emotional needs. Trying to get your energy, trying to get your response. But a healthy response is in mindset. It's more mentally healthy to focus on personal values, goals, and inner strengths, rather than giving energy to those trying to provoke a reaction. I can share this from my personal experience. Once I started focusing and doing something, regardless of how small it is, every single day, outside of work, outside of my relationship, just doing something that I like to do, whether it's making these videos, looking up something that I love to look up that sparks my mental, not what somebody else is trying to put into my mind. something that makes me feel good, and looking into myself and thinking about the things that I want to do and doing something so small, long as it's doing something every single day according to what's in my mind, not what somebody else is trying to put in my mind forcefully, has made me feel so good. Reading on, true confidence and peace comes from self-awareness and not being controlled by the opinions or emotions of others. I guess that's what I meant. Not engaging with people that provoke others, not engaging with them deprives them of the emotional reaction they seek, breaking the cycle of manipulation and drama. And this is how I'm going to assume right here, cults are formed and groupthink are formed when everybody has to think the same. So the urge to provoke others is often about personal needs for control, attention, or validation, rooted in one's own psychological struggles or learned behaviors, not a reflection of the worth or choices of those being targeted. Indifference, by contrast, means valuing one's own peace more than whatever drama or opinion someone else tries to stir up. So people provoke others in many different ways, both big and small, across every kind of relationship and social setting. Science-backed studies and workplace research outline a wide spectrum of behaviors, from subtle manipulation to outright harassment, that can erode trust and well-being. So let's give one in a hospital workplace examples. I'm gonna give one that's small and one that's big. A small example in the hospital workplace example would be rolling the eyes, ignoring input from colleagues, using sarcastic or dismissive comments, shaming others for mistakes, or spreading rumors. A big example in a hospital workplace environment would be publicly berating staff, using threatening language, excluding certain workers from important information, or intimidating with the threat of retribution or job loss. The impact of these behaviors lead to stress, burnout, and mental health issues among staff, and can escalate into workplace violence or reduce the quality of care for patients. So here's a big example and a small example in intimate relationships. In a small example in intimate relationships would be giving the silent treatment, sarcastic remarks, rolling eyes, ignoring calls or messages, withholding affection, withholding sex. A big example in intimate relationships would be repeatedly bringing up sensitive topics, flirting with others to evoke jealousy, sabotaging a partner's self-esteem, or emotionally withdrawing as punishment. The impact of these pokes and prods often reflect unmanaged anger, shame, or insecurity, and can eat away at trust and intimacy over time. Eventually, the relationship is gone. Whether you leave or stay, the relationship becomes dead. Business and financial relationship examples. A small one would be withholding information, making side comments in meetings, ignoring contributions, spreading rumors, or controlling group dynamics through passive aggression. A big example would be using money or power to control decision making, deliberately impeding others' progress or promotions, controlling access to joint finances, or sabotaging work performance. The impact of this creates environments of fear, resentment, and stifled productivity, undermining both professional growth and collaboration. Here are some small and big examples with racial and prejudice. Small would be subtle microaggressions. For example, backhanded compliments, questioning qualifications, making stereotypical jokes, social exclusion, or ignoring perspectives from people of a different race. A big example would be open discrimination, derogatory comments, or orchestrated exclusion in group settings. The impact of this erodes psychological safety, fosters hostility, and perpetrates inequality, which research tries to long-term stress and health disparities. So here are some family or neighborhood examples. A small one would be teasing about achievements or appearance, constant criticism, silent treatment, or leveraging family secrets. Some big examples would be public humiliation at gatherings, spreading damaging rumors, threatening to cut off financial or emotional support, or escalating small disputes into larger family splits. And the impact of these patterns often repeat across generations, resulting in ongoing cycles of mistrust and estrangement. So this is where families break up and, you never see certain family members ever again. Self-reflection and effects. Many people poke at others unconsciously, repeating patterns learned in childhood or previous toxic environments. These behaviors, even the subtle ones, can erode self-confidence, increase anxiety or depression, and damage relationships in ways research links directly to emotional and physical health problems over time. Recognizing these signs both in oneself and others is a key step toward building healthier, more constructive ways of interacting and breaking cycles of people poking and provoking you and reactions out of you, trying to get reactions out of you. I can share from my experience. Once I realized this and stopped taking things personal, you lose a lot of people from every relationship, but you gain a lot of people from various different relationships that you would have never thought, that would be a part of your life. It's deep. When manipulators realize they're being recognized, they often reverse the roles. This is why a lot of times they say, don't defend, don't engage with them, don't explain anything to them, don't personalize anything to them, ignore their asses. But sometimes you can't. And sometimes they're normal, just like you. They can feel when you're on to them, when you realize what they're doing. Even if you don't point it out to them, they could feel it as well. So they'll start to watch you, and as they call it, mirroring, copy every damn thing you do, and start reversing the roles to try to make you feel like you're crazy. They'll start denying problem behaviors that they create. They'll start playing the victim. They'll start shifting the blame to make others question themselves. This set of tactics is well documented in research on emotional abuse and manipulation, including patterns like DARVO, DARVO, which stands for deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. How manipulators reverse and conceal tactics. A big word here is gaslighting. They may claim events didn't happen, say you're overreacting, or insist that you're too sensitive, making the target doubt reality. Playing the victim. When confronted, manipulators exaggerate or invent distress, acting as if they're the ones truly harmed, to guilt or confuse others. It's why you must be careful with these fucking idiots. DARVO pattern. They deny, abuse, attack the accuser's credibility or character, then reverse the victim and offender roles, making the true victim feel responsible. Passive aggression. Manipulators might subtly sabotage situations or give backhanded compliments, then claim innocence if challenged. Deflection. Instead of answering direct concerns, they bring up unrelated events or the accuser's supposed flaws to try to throw you off. They'll talk about stuff that don't even relate to the direct concern you're talking about, or they'll talk about your flaws. Protecting yourself from these type of tactics. Educate yourself, learn the signs of manipulation and common tactics so they become easier to spot. Those people that say they don't deal with people, they hide in their little closet, in their little room, in their house every day, that's fine. That's them. But you have people that go out into the world, into the community, into the workplace environment that really deal with real people that want to understand the people that they deal with. And it's so, me personally, can only speak for me. I love to educate myself so that I am aware of the signs of manipulation and the common tactics that people use, and it becomes easier for me to spot on a daily basis. So trust your instincts, that good old gut feeling If something feels off, pause and ask for time before responding. Distance give mental clarity. Sometimes you got to get up and go walk, excuse yourself to the bathroom, and just, let that distance from that encounter, that environment, it'll give you clarity. It'll make you think. Set boundaries, clearly communicate what behaviors are unacceptable and what the consequences are if they persist. You can't tell them, don't do this, don't do that, stop doing this, stop doing that. They're not going to stop. Some of them will, some of them won't. But you have to say, I'm done, and really be done. And you take actions to stay away from them, to move away from them, to distance yourself, not expecting and trying to make them stay away from you. Try to stay calm. That's a hard one. Manipulators feed on emotional reactions. Maintaining composure helps starve their need for drama or control. And sometimes you have to speak up for yourself. But staying calm in those situations where you recognize they're trying to get you up in an uproar, it just rages them and makes their blood boil. You could tell by the way they react. And they just tell on themselves. Assertive communication. State your feelings and experiences factually. Always use facts, even though they don't give a damn about facts, and they'll even try to damage whatever facts that you have because they don't care. Don't allow the manipulator to hijack the narrative. Always talk to trustworthy friends, colleagues. You'll find those like-minded people. The more and more you see this happening, you're like, damn. But there are so much more good people out there that you can share your thoughts and feelings with that are similar minded to you. And so by understanding these patterns and maintaining self-awareness, people can protect their own sense of reality and emotional well-being, refusing to fall into cycles of manipulation and doubt. And this helps you even more get unstuck from the feelings that you may be having and get unstuck from just being still. It'll get you into the mode of doing for yourself, as far as taking what's in your mind and what's creative that nobody else can. They may copy you, but they cannot do it like you. And it makes you feel so good to do something that's in your mind every single day, no matter how small. Peace.